The Loons in the road light blue uniforms. They already have their spot in the championship playoff secured by winning the spring season. Trying to claim the fall season as well and ensure if they have 2 home playoff matches or 2 playoff matches, they'll both be at the National Sports Center in Blaine, Minnesota. And Ramirez, as always, the target for Minnesota United. And there's a quick one-time volley for Daniel Mendez, a gentleman that played the last 8 years of his career in Sweden, was on loan from his club in Sweden this season and just signed recently to play with Minnesota United again in 2015.
Watching Minnesota tonight, they are not going to hesitate to play the ball long into Ramirez and look to win those second balls, just as we saw there. Indy is going to have to be aggressive, especially when those balls hit the ground, in order to get those opportunities.
Tonight's match clock is brought to us by Seiko. They are the official timekeeper of the North American Soccer League. Player down for Minnesota. It is Mendez, who we just saw take the strike a few moments ago. He's able to hop back up before play is stopped. We'll play through here in downtown Indy. Well, changes in the midfield and at the forward position for the Indy 11 tonight. Don Smart giving chase, and Charlie Rugg will do the same. Good news for the 11 is that the back line finally, after being seemingly in a state of flux the entire year, got a little more consistency this evening. Eric Morales back from his national team duty with Honduras. He was selected to play in Copa Central America, not in this international window over this kind of 10-day period where you see most countries playing 2 international matches. The U.S. playing Ecuador last night. They'll play Honduras, in fact, on Tuesday night down in Boca Raton, Florida. He's joined by Miller, Frias, and Marco Franco, one of the numerous players on loan from an MLS club. Franco on loan from the Chicago Fire.
And just as you referenced, this partnership between Miller and Morales is going to be vital this evening as they look to shut down Ramirez going forward.
Miller was brought in really knowing to be a replacement for Morales for 2 or 3 matches, and Miller has been a find. He played in the USL Pro Division the last 2 years for the Blues out in Orange County in Los Angeles. Was not playing professionally in the first half of 2014. To kind of use the NFL terminology, as a street free agent, came in here and has been a godsend for the Indy 11.
Absolutely. Talking with Mike Ambersley before the game, he raved about Miller's composure and his willingness to get into tackles and do the dirty work for this Indy 11 defensive squad.
And a brief glance at Jurgen Sommer, head coach of the Indy 11, much as my broadcast partner this evening, a former goalie at Indiana University. Paul Telford to his left, former teammate from his days of playing in the Premiership over in England. Ball didn't get through that time, but not exactly a stellar clearance by the 11. Last time these two teams played, August the 16th in Minnesota, and the Loons won by a score of 5-1. And frankly, it's been the only game this year where Indy was really non-competitive, and that put a scare into Christian Neat. The riser that was struck from Kevin Venegas making the run. That looked awfully similar to a goal you might have seen last night as a highlight reel. The Landon Donovan tribute for the U.S. men's national team. Kind of looked like that ball we saw him hit against Slovenia back in the 2010 World Cup.
Right, absolutely. Venegas coming from the right back position just looked like he had a little bit too much time and space to get down the right flank. Indy 11 is going to have to tighten that up in order to make sure that they don't get burned on that side.
This will trickle across the sideline for a throw in for Minnesota United. Fans, it's a reminder to join us every Saturday morning from 9 until 10 on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan for Soccer Saturday. The next Saturday, we're back at the Chatham Tap in Fishers. We'll be joined by Jurgen Sommer. Plan to be joined by Charlie Rugg, newest member of the Indy 11, and plenty of other great guests lined up. Hope to see you there. It's Soccer Saturday at the Chatham Tap in Fishers, where you can listen in on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan.
Speaking of Rugg, in this first 5 minutes, I've been pretty impressed with what he's done off the ball in terms of his willingness to track back, challenge the Minnesota defenders, and not let them play easy balls out of the back.
Free is trying to play forward, asking for a handball, won't get it. Now Mendez slides it through to Ramirez. Plays this one across, no teammate waiting on the back post, and Franco will track it down for the Indy 11. By the way, folks, no need to adjust your television screens. Yes, those are pink socks that the Indy 11 is wearing tonight. May have been kind of given that away by the scarves that Chris and I had on for the open of the broadcast. Tonight is Breast Cancer Awareness Night, as you see throughout the month of October. This is part of the initiative, along with the great partner that the Indy 11 have in Community Health and Sports Medicine, Community Health Network. And we'll talk more about the partnership and tonight's initiative during the course of our post-game show. Frias an optimistic flick forward. Quickly cleared by Venegas.
I like that ball by Norales, though, and looking to switch the point of attack. Indy can't go forward just down the gut against Minnesota this evening.
Some familiar names missing for Indy 11. We touched on the fact that Mike Ambersley not playing for the first time this year. Cleberson is available for selection off of the bench. He did not play in last week's game against the Cosmos. Cleberson has both of the goals that Indy 11 have scored against Minnesota United this year. Blake Smith, touch on this briefly. He is out with an ankle sprain. Good look at Cleberson. Between Julian and Fujiro Okiyama. Cleberson leading the 11 with 8 goals so far this season. Currently, of the players on the field, no player has more than 2 goals in an Indy 11 uniform this year. And a giveaway, a stumble, and a caused stumble. Let's say Ramirez got a little aggressive with that off arm. It'll be a free kick coming up here for Indy.
He played that a little strong. Looking back, Pena might have been a little bit fortunate to get away with that one. Can't be too many turnovers in the middle of the park this evening for Indy 11.
Well, defensive turnovers have been a problem this season, no doubt about that. However, those things have become a little bit more shored up in recent days. Rugg, nice looking run. Pineda! And Indy 11 with their earliest home goal in league play this season. Pineda gets the strike, but welcome to Indianapolis, Charlie Rugg. Thank him for setting it up.
We were talking before the game, wondering how Rugg would make his impact, and we talked about his work rate off the ball. There he was able to track the ball down in the corner, beat the Minnesota man, deliver a fine ball into Pineda, who hammered it home.
Pineda's getting this knack for early goals here. I like it. He had a 16th minute goal against FC Edmonton 4 weeks ago. His second goal here stakes the Indy 11 to an early 1-0 lead. And that goal is presented by WGU Indiana, helping Hoosiers reach their education goals. Go further with WGU Indiana, education that works for you. Chris, let's take one more look at our Buffalo Wild Wings replay.
As we said, Rugg chasing the ball down in the corner, and the great presence of mind to lay the ball off, and the smooth one-time finish into the back of the net.
Whistle goes against Jermaine Johnson. Back to live action, and Charlie Rugg did it beautifully.
And it's so easy on a turf surface like this to lift your head up, hammer that ball over the goal, but the concentration and focus necessary to get over it, strike it low, and into the back of the net was top-notch on that play right there.
It's an Indy 11 team that has led for 100 minutes all season. And a large chunk of those came in the victory against the Atlanta Silverbacks, the last win for Indy, back on September the 6th. The other 2 wins were late victories. The inaugural franchise win at Carolina on July the 12th, and a victory at FC Edmonton that was a stoppage time goal from Cleberson back on July the 27th.
And now this presents a new test for Indy 11 this season. What can they do with this 1-0 lead early in the game against a very experienced, talented opponent? We'll see how they shape up this rest of the first half.
Mendez with a good run going. But Pineda does a great job of getting in the way and then sends that one towards the White River. Throw-in coming here for Minnesota.
Pineda did a great job of tracking back there, but already in the first 10 minutes, we've seen Minnesota get down this right flank a couple of times. That's something that Indy 11 are going to need to shore up here in this first half.
Good ball by Pena. Over to Pineda, and the ball deflected out of bounds. Throw-in coming here for the Indy 11. Had a brief look at Christian Neat in goal for the Indy 11 a couple of moments ago. Christian, his third shutout as the netminder for the 11. Last Saturday on Long Island against the Cosmos. Had 7 saves, including the play of the week, as voted on by fans of the NASL on NASL.com. Step in by Mayers. The supporting run keeps the ball in play for Minnesota. Advantage played. Smart, good tackle. Guy that we talked about for his offensive skills. So some pretty good ones on defense right there.
Great timing on the tackle there by Smart. Got the challenge just right in a dangerous position. We'll see if Indy can withstand this offensive pressure that Minnesota's been putting on them a little bit since the goal.
And Don has played the role of super sub this year, but with some injury issues towards the front of the formation for the 11, he gets the opportunity to go the full 90 tonight. Pineda launches Rugg on a run. No support yet for Charlie. He finds a little bit of help in Dylan Mayers. Frias plays this one in, and just a bit too optimistic for Charlie Rugg. But you like what you're seeing if you're an 11 fan right now.
Rugg did a great job of tracking down the ball, holding it up, not being impatient and running straight to goal, finding it to Mayers, recycling it wide, and then looking for a dangerous service into the box. Already I like what I'm seeing from Indy 11 on the offensive side of the ball.
At the top of the 18. Little flick to leave it for Mayers. Couldn't find him, but Frias finds him. And then Mayers couldn't maintain possession. Frias will give that one away. Well, maybe not. A little turf bounce there keeps that ball in play. We should be used to that by now. The 14th game of the season played on this surface, including Open Cup competition. That Open Cup match, the one time the home fans saw a victory this year. And against the Dayton Dutch Lions on May the 28th. A little too aggressive that time by Pena. Fans, the IPL and ICL is excited to be a part of the Indy 11's inaugural season. The Indiana Champions League and the Indy 11 creating an atmosphere in the Indianapolis soccer community that's fantastic.
Already we're seeing Minnesota look to play direct to Ramirez like we expected, but also Norales and Miller have done a pretty good job of finding him, communicating between each other, and making sure they track him when he makes those runs forward.
Look at Manny Lagos. Had a chance to speak with him on Soccer Saturday this morning. His 5th year as the head man for Minnesota United. Team coming into tonight's match with 50 points in the 2 seasons combined. That's in 22 matches played. Rugg with the physical challenge. Mason Sheeny now plays this one across. Cristiano Diaz.
Minnesota here doing what good teams do, maintaining possession in the opposing team's half of the field until a stick right there by Indy 11. just as I say something.
Broadcaster jinx works even in soccer.
Always.
Now Venegas ramps up and does not keep that one on frame. Fans, you're not watching the match on the pitch. You can find your perfect, honest-to-goodness Indiana getaway at visitindiana.com. It's visitindiana.com. The Brickyard Battalion in full song. Das Boot for the German-born netminder. The inaugural signing of Indy 11 back on October the 1st of last year. And even this young franchise showing some signs of age, because Charlie Rugg was signed on October the 1st to that loan deal 1 year after Christian Neek became the first player in Indy 11 history. Early Indy 11 tally. The second for Victor Pineda. Right idea, but Venegas stumbled just as that ball was switched up on sides of the field. Throw in coming here for the Indy 11.
And there have been times this season we've seen the 11 get a little bit too stretched from back to front, from the center backs to the top manning forward. Already this evening we've seen that gap of about 35-40 yards maintained pretty well by these players, so that structure in the defensive side of the ball is doing good things for him and keeping this Minnesota attack at bay.
Frias with the long distance find of Rugg. Charlie played his collegiate soccer at Boston College. Scored 1 goal in 2 appearances for the Galaxy last year. Played for the Galaxy's team that, creatively enough, is called LA Galaxy 2.
Wow.
In the USL Pro Division. I guess the JV Galaxy would not have sounded as cool.
Ah, yes.
And the USL Pro Division season wrapped up in mid-September. Actually commented on that a couple of weeks ago. Carolina had a player return from Orlando City who played in the USL Pro Division this year. Austin DeLuz, I believe, was that player. Don Smart. Pena, advantage played, but Jermaine Johnson was nowhere close to being onside. That's why he stopped at his tracks and let that one roll to the sideline.
You mentioned it early, Greg. Smart is known for his offensive capabilities, but right there we saw him help shut down the ball and win it for the Indy 11, and they're going to need that kind of effort on both sides of the ball if they want to get this victory tonight. Smart,
one of the 2 remaining Iron Men for this team that have appeared in every game this season. He and Christian Neek have that honor. Match number 24 for the Jamaican native. Flag goes up. Offside call. This is Minnesota's one and only visit to Indianapolis this year. The first 2 matches were played up in Blaine, Minnesota. The Loons winning in early May and then winning again in mid-August. In fact, this is the first time that the Minnesota franchise, which really dates back for a couple of decades, is the Minnesota Thunder. And they're kind of various different names in the soccer pyramid of this country. First time they have played a match here in this state. Frias gets a bit of a positive bounce in his direction. Run by Jermaine Johnson. Looking to make the turn, finds a teammate instead. Charlie Rugg lets fire, and sometimes the turf can help you, sometimes the turf can slow it up, and that one made it an easier play for Matt Van Oekel.
To your point, though, Frias did a great job of stepping there. The early ball in behind the defense was a smart one. Johnson did a great job of keeping the defender on his backside and giving Rugg the time and space to make that overlapping run. Rugg wasn't able to connect it as well as he would have liked, I'm sure, but that's another positive sign on the offensive side of the ball for the Indy 11.
They did not score in their last home match here against Carolina. And in fact, the goal by Pineda ended a scoreless streak that was at about 225 minutes. The 11 have been shut out just 4 times this year, but 2 of those have been the last 2 matches. The 0-0 draw with the Cosmos, and then a 1-0 loss to the Railhawks of Carolina here 2 weeks ago. So the last 2 home goals in league play scored by the Indy 11, scored by Victor Pineda.
There you go.
Look at Eric Morales, who for the first time tonight is wearing the captain's armband. I say that, he may have worn it last week in the road match. First time we have seen him wear it here. Christian Neek wore that for the first half of the season. Cleverson had it on his arm then for a good chunk of the season, but Cleb didn't play last week. And again, available as a selection as a reserve for tonight's match. This is Ramirez, and not surprising at all that Eric Morales basically has a man-to-man assignment on Ramirez tonight. Long ball finds Charlie Rugg. Pineda with the run going. Good tackle by Minnesota United, and then Rugg is whistled for the foul. This is a Minnesota team playing without 2 of their stalwart players tonight, but they're missing this match for all of the right reasons. Miguel Ibarra, a name that has suddenly become a common name in soccer circles in this country, for his selection by Jurgen Klinsmann of the U.S. men's national team for their game last night against Ecuador. Ibarra with 8 goals this season, and Rafael Burgos, who hasn't played as many matches this year for Minnesota United, but he has been selected for El Salvador's international play over these next couple of weeks.
And as we were talking with Morales, with Burgos, with Ibarra, all of these gentlemen getting called into their respective national team, I think speaks wonders for the NASL and the type of development the league has had and will continue to have in the years going forward.
Morales will simply watch this one roll to his keeper and Christian Neek. Not much of a threat that time. Space to operate here, and a missed challenge by Miller. This one played across, this one chipped in, and Christian got it with a boot. But he is coming up gimpy. He turned an ankle, and so immediately we're going to stop play.
That was a fantastic save there by Neek. The ball came in well to Ramirez, who hit the solid one-time shot. Was read like a book, but as you can see now, the after effect of such a save.
Tremendous effort by Christian. He has played every minute of every match this year. John Dawson is the reserve goalie. We really have seen John warm up in earnest one time earlier this year. It was in the spring season. Last home match against San Antonio. Great ball across. So many times Ramirez has found the back of the net. He made the save with the left foot while the right ankle rolled over, trying to make that play.
You love the intensity, but you do wonder, my goodness, what the impact is going to be for him on this game.
Take a look from this angle here, and again, left foot gets the ball, right ankle gets caught in the turf.
Oh. And he knew immediately.
Now, knowing Christian, he's going to try to play through this if possible. But that might not be possible. I see Dawson getting the gear on immediately. Christian, the only goalie in the league that has played in every match this year. And I referenced the fact that there was one match where he wasn't sure he's going to go to the full 90. That was the game against San Antonio back on May the 31st. There you see John Dawson, Buff High School graduate, Butler University graduate. He and Nathan Sprinkle, the 2 reserve goalies, have not played a match all year. Now, Sprinkle has a broken hand, so he's done for the season and will not play. Dawson would love to have the chance to give it a go. I'm not sure Christian's going to let him in the game just yet.
Doesn't look like it. And as you saw, Neek was running around testing the strength of that ankle because a goalie spends so much time on the balls of his feet. needing to make those ballistic movements, left, right, back, forward. That ankle strength is going to be vital if he's going to be able to stay in the game and continue playing.
My guess is that's probably an injury you've suffered a time or two in your playing days.
Yes, and it still plagues me to this day when I play vigorous rec soccer on the weekends.
Well, that's your fault for playing vigorous rec soccer. I think rec soccer is the definition of non-vigorous activity.
That is my issue, and I am the first one to admit it.
A team like Minnesota, Nick will be tested. There's no doubt about that. So we'll know quickly whether that ankle is able to go the rest of the way. And you also worry about you get to halftime and does that thing start to swell up, not moving for 15 minutes.
Exactly. They're going to have to do a good job of keeping him loose. One thing to watch for with Nick is if Minnesota gets balls in behind the Indy 11 defense, how explosive is he off his line and able to cut out either a cross or a through ball?
So John Dawson on standby, but Nick still standing tall at this point. Good positioning by Morales. And eventually that'll be a goal kick here for Indy 11. I mentioned the fact earlier that Minnesota has lost 2 matches all year, both on the road, at the Cosmos in the spring season, and against FC Edmonton up in Alberta in this campaign. Mares with possession, doesn't keep it for long. Little Mares, much like Don Smart, has seen a lot of his opportunities off of the bench this year, but getting the start tonight.
And I think it speaks to the testament and the quality of these guys that some of them have been on the bench for the majority of the campaign, but they come in, they're ready to play. And on a night like this evening, testing themselves against the top team, they've shown admirably in this first 26 minutes.
It's a Minnesota United team that has scored 8 times in 2 previous meetings with the 11 this year. Frias gets in the way of that one. Sheeny. Venegas. Hefty footwork by Venegas, plays it across. Pena gets in the way. Sergio Pena, a midseason signee from Honduras. Johnson showing his speed but can't keep it in play. Was touched last though by a Minnesota United player.
We've seen that a couple times by Pena already. Him being able to get back, use his lanky frame to cover a lot of territory and cover when there is a mistake by an Indy 11 player, and nicely done there by him.
And one of 2 Hondurans on the Indy 11 roster, Morales being the other. And somewhat of a giveaway that time by Corey Miller. Fans, you can enjoy City Barbecue, slow smoked pulled pork, potato salad, slaw, and all your tailgating favorites without doing any of the work at your next party. All because of City Barbecue. Good sliding tackle by Corey Miller. Now Smart off to the races. Played it over to Johnson. Johnson was going forward. Miscommunication there between those two.
But again, a consistent theme we've seen this half is Rugg coming back to the ball, holding it well. He's not the biggest guy, but he uses his frame effectively and then finding the open man.
Venegas onside. Venegas! That left foot is magic yet again for Christian Niecht.
He's 2 for 2 with the left boot.
When you're playing that well, it might make it a bit easier to tough out that ankle injury.
Absolutely. What pain.
The phrase in hockey is standing on your head from a pain relief standpoint. Christian might need to do that. Outstanding ball across. Couldn't get to it. Ball set in by Greg Jordan. Daniel Mendez just couldn't make contact with it. Christian Niecht had his magic in between the pipes yet again for the Indy 11.
But again, we're seeing Minnesota come down the right side of the field. Niecht coming up big with the kick save and a butte.
Our Buffalo Wild Wings replay. One more look.
Caught him leaning to the right just a little bit, but he was able to use his frame and his foot to keep the ball out of the back of the net.
Again, Miller. Miller provides the size and physicality this team missed along that back four before he signed with the club at the end of August.
That's one of the things Mike Ambersley cited specifically, his willingness to get into tackles and his ability to do so. It's one thing if someone 5'4", 5'5" has a willingness to do so, but he has the frame and the physicality to be impactful when doing so.
On Smart, comes up a bit lame, and the trainer have to come out now for a second time for the Indy 11 tonight. We talked about the fact that two guys that have played in every match for this team, the two guys that have been banged up so far in the opening 30 minutes of action.
The broadcaster jinx once again?
Yeah, but normally doesn't apply to health. That's what concerns me.
Yes, rightfully so.
If it happens again, we'll refer to it as the Monroe Doctrine on the program.
I am completely willing to take the blame.
But the good news is the new guy around here, if this result holds, Brad Hunter might be the Wally Pipp of this group. We may not let him back on the broadcast. Well, Smart looks like he'll stay in the match, and take a look here. Just the stumble here and going for the challenge. And great job by our camera on the field. You saw the kick that looked a little more vicious on the replay than it did during real time.
Right, just incidental contact.
A little bit of a discombobulation there at the top of the 18. That ball was a bit dangerous for a moment. Rugg couldn't get to it, and Smart now waved back into the field of play, so both teams at full strength.
But speaking of contact, if I'm the Indy 11 and I see that I was able to play a lofted ball into the box and Van Oekel did not deal with that successfully at all, maybe I'm thinking, okay, if we have to do this again on a free kick type opportunity, let's put it in there and test him in the air.
Little flick by Johnson, and Van Oekel able to go over and track it down. Opportunity here for United. Asking for a takedown, and our match referee, Soren Stoika, says nope, just a finger wag that time, nothing more. Jamie Watson was the player that was hoping for contact at the top of the box or just inside, and now Charlie Rugg down behind the play, and now Minnesota realizes it, and they'll play it off to the side. And yet again, the trainer is asked to come out.
My initial impression was that he got caught with an elbow either in the chin or maybe on the shoulder. It'll be interesting to see what actually took place.
But the trainer's getting way too much of a workout here in this game, and let's see exactly what happened here. That's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Right in the throat.
That would be Giuliano Vicencini, who my guess is that clip will be shown around the league office early next week. That's pretty blatant. Now again, you've only got one referee on the pitch. It's easy for us to see with replay. Hard for him to see, but with our cameras around this field, my guess is Mr. Vicencini might be getting a call from the league office early in the week.
At the very least.
Just a guess.
They will take another look at it and see if it was malicious in nature.
If it was malicious in nature?
He gets that phone call.
Neek traces over, and that's a good test for that ankle right there. And Rugg now waved back into the field of play.
Initial impression, it looks like he passed with flying colors. He was able to read the ball well, come off his line explosively, and collect it no problem.
And now Rugg is going to get a yellow card for coming back in. And he claims that, hey, because I looked over at the assistant referee and thought I was waved back in play, but not by the referee and Stoika, and he gets a yellow card in the process.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I've ever seen that take place, where it seems like the player thought he had permission to go on, and then the lead official said, nope, you didn't.
Well, for two teams that are kind of going in different directions throughout the course of this season, this has gotten awfully chippy, awfully fast in this game.
Quickly.
Yeah. Miller plays it out to Frias. Able to avoid the feet of Mendez. And that'll be a whistle against Thiago Calvano.
Rugg played that very well. He felt the pressure. There was a light touch. Maybe he went down a little easy, but knowing what just transpired, my assumption is that he figured he could get the call, and he did.
You might see a Carter more coming out here in the next few minutes. There might be one that kind of needed to calm the emotions on both sides at this point of the match.
I think you're spot on. That wouldn't surprise me in the least.
See if the players adjust to it. Opportunity here. Smart somehow finds Johnson. Johnson sends it in. Beautiful back heel by Mayers, but Pineda couldn't connect in time, and handball whistled against United. And that handball is against Justin Davis. And by the way, congratulations to Davis, as we are now in the 36th minute of this match. Tonight he has broken both the franchise league and overall minutes record played in Minnesota United history. So congratulations to Justin Davis for setting that mark this evening for Minnesota United.
And as you referenced, Minnesota, a club with a lot of history and tradition. That is absolutely quite an accomplishment.
Set piece here, first one of them tonight for Indy 11. Pineda sends it in. Rugg the target. Marco Franco, one of the first times we called his name tonight. Jermaine Johnson finds Rugg. Somehow the ball almost got through. Not exactly out of danger yet. On Smart. There's just something about him. Good things happen when he's on the field for Indy 11.
It may not look the prettiest, but if it gets the job done, then hey, why not?
Mayers thought Pineda was going to make the move. Dylan Mayers, one of the numerous players on this roster from Zionsville. There are two of them on the pitch right now, Corey Miller and Dylan Mayers. A.J. Corrado also available for selection off the bench, a Zionsville native. Pineda giveaway, however, player was offside when that happened. Greg Jordan was not back on side when the ball inadvertently got to him because Pineda didn't play it properly.
Worked out well for the 11 right there.
I've used the phrase offense by accident before. I guess that would be defense by accident for the Indy 11.
There you go.
We will have some stoppage time at the end of this one with the goal and 2 or 3 appearances by the trainer for the Indy 11. We're here in the 39th minute of the half. The goal in the 8th minute by Victor Pineda.
In the last 5 or 7 minutes, the 11 have had a little bit more possession on Minnesota's side of the field. One thing to notice, though, Indy needs to make sure they stay compact in the defensive side, having Mayers, having Pena sit in front of the center backs just to make sure there's no service going into Ramirez. He's been quiet so far, but as we've said, with his 17 goals on the season, if you give him an opening, there's a chance he could strike.
Flick forward, shot taken off the bar. That one was able to ring the bell, but didn't exactly find the back of the net.
And it's interesting because Minnesota in those first approximately 38 minutes has had a decent amount of success attacking Indy from the wide flank. So look for them to keep doing that as the center backs have shut down Ramirez by and large for the first portion of the first half.
And this one deflects off the defender in Venegas.
Great ball in, and then a laser just off the near post. Nothing Neeks could have done. Luckily, the woodwork there to bail him out.
2 saves with his left foot, and 1 from the right upright, if you will, so far for Christian Neat.
All counts the same. Gotta love it.
Jordan wins that 50-50 ball. So the transition for this Minnesota United team is so fast. They win the ball in the midfield. It is off to the races quickly. Miller got there first, and Smart. Flag went up behind the play. And now we'll go back for a goal kick.
You said it, though. With Minnesota's transition, that's a testament to their structure. They have very well-defined lines. Their defense, their midfield, Ramirez up top. So when they press the Indy 11 and win the ball back, they have players in the right spaces and the mindset to find those players early and break out on transition.
Fans, the Metro PCS ticket giveaway is back. Be sure to visit the Metro PCS location at 2002 Lafayette Road between 5 and 7 this Friday. Radio Latina will be on hand with their cash cube, and Metro PCS will giving away 100 tickets to the home finale against San Antonio next Saturday. Metro PCS make wireless and getting the game easy with unlimited data, talk, and text for one low monthly rate, period. Johnson tried to find Charlie Rudd, couldn't get it to him. Johnson, he too a mid-season signee for Indy 11. Joined the club at the end of July after spending the last 7 years with Sheffield Wednesday. And this one, well, not the best effort from Don Smart, and immediately raises his hand and says, my apologies.
He knew. But about 45 seconds before that, Miller stepped up well, got the ball to Frias, and Frias was able to find Pena in the center of the park, who then was able to switch the point of attack. That's something Indy hasn't done a whole lot today, and dare I say a whole lot all season. So that's something to build on going into the second half, and then also, to be frank, the remainder of the season.
Ramirez finds Mendez. Mendez deflected away. Eric Morales didn't let that one get to Christian Neat. Combination has been lethal. The top 3 goal scorers for Minnesota in Ramirez, Mendez, and Ibarra have combined for 34 goals this year. Chance here. Johnson. He's going to win a lot of foot races. Will he draw a penalty or take a shot on goal? And got neither. He's enough of a veteran player. You almost wonder if he's almost going to stop and try to draw the whistle to take the shot from the spot. Instead, pushed it just wide right.
He did do a great job of breaking out and then cutting inside the defender to force him to potentially make that foul. Unfortunately, Johnson wasn't able to put that shot on target, however.
Now, he has played as a reserve the last couple of weeks because he's been dealing with a bit of a foot injury, and you worry that he re-aggravated there, as he is still slowly walking to the middle of the field behind the play. I don't think you'll see a change maybe before halftime. There will be stoppage time coming up. We're being told it's 3 minutes in length. But I'm not sure we'll see Jermaine in half number 2.
And to that point, Coach Summers going to have a few decisions to make. The 11 have looked pretty solid on the defensive side of the ball. But if Johnson can't go in the second half, you don't have Ambersley on the bench. So who do you put in instead? Do you move Smart up top? What are some of the things you're thinking about? So Summer and the staff are going to have some decisions to make here at the break.
Cleberson plays much more of a midfield role. You've got Julian that could go in and play that striker's role. But certainly Don Smart would have no problem playing as a forward target tonight. Crafty footwork here by Charlie Rudd. Can't stay with it though, but that young man has been more than impressive this evening.
We've talked about his runs off the ball. We've talked about his ability to hold the ball with his back to goal. And right there, we see another aspect of his game, his crafty footwork, getting in and around defenders. He's been a phenomenal man, player, guy this half here for the Indy 11.
He was signed on the last day that teams could make player moves before the roster freeze to end the season. The 25th player on the Indy 11 roster and final one for the rest of this campaign. Long run for Smart. Mares launches up. Smart got to it first. Who touched it last? The ruling is Minnesota did. It'll be a throw in for the Indy 11. Fans, you can join the Indy 11 at the final home match of the inaugural season next Saturday, October the 18th versus the San Antonio Scorpions for Hoosier Lottery Night. The first 1,100 adults through the gate will receive a free Hoosier Lottery scratch-off. If you're feeling lucky, get to the mic early and don't miss out. You must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. And then fans, be sure to stick around for a fabulous post-game fireworks show presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers. Missed opportunity there for the 11. Throw in for Minnesota.
With about a minute, 2 minutes left to play, if I'm Indy 11, if I'm Christian, Neekt, if I'm Miller, Norales, I'm just thinking, okay, let's hold down the fort. Even a ball like that long is completely fine. We're leading against the league leaders, 1-0. Let's get in. Let's reassess where things stand and move on to the second half.
We'll talk to head coach Manny Lagos of the Minnesota United as his team exits the pitch into halftime. Trouble here. Norales is there to sweep it away. Last week, Norales named to the best 11 for Week 13 of the NASL fall season. It was his 5th honor in the spring and fall seasons combined. The fact that he was asked for national team duty in early September for a club that made the World Cup should tell you enough about his overall talent.
Absolutely, and we've seen it on display tonight. His ability to win challenges, be physical, but also have the foot speed to keep up with Ramirez. He and Miller both have done a great job in this first half.
Halfway through stoppage time here in half number 1. Miller got there first. Ball gets through. Neat again. The man has a magnet somewhere on him tonight. This has been a team that seemingly hasn't caught very many breaks this season. Christian's making up for that a little bit tonight.
We've seen 3 world-class saves this evening from Neekt. And that one was no exception.
Venegas. Tremendous job to keep that in play. Could be trouble here. Sends it across. Don Smart got there first. Mares gets there next. Play on. Johnson, that foot appears just fine, but that will be a sliding challenge. Which color of the card is it? It's a yellow. I think some of the home folks had hoped for a red. Johnson on the turf. And this is Vicencini, who again had the elbow that was not detected earlier in the match.
And you called it, Greg. You said there might need to be a yellow or two to keep this tone at bay, and we saw it right there.
Giuliano Vicencini belying the reputation that Minnesota had from last year. They won the Fair Play Award in 2013 for the fewest yellow and red cards.
Your attention, please.
He's doing his part to ensure that does not happen in 2014. Now Johnson was down on the turf, and I saw him grab his right shoulder. And so that was kind of a result of the tackle, and you see the two sides jawing back and forth at each other.
And watching the replay here, I'm not sure why Minnesota is so upset, simply because Johnson got there first, touched the ball away, had a, if not a goal-scoring opportunity, certainly a positive attacking opportunity. Therefore, I think the challenge was more than worthy of a yellow card.
I would say it was not as dubious as the elbow that was thrown earlier, but card worthy nonetheless.
Absolutely. Better late than never.
And you see the universal signal for, hey, we're going to need a sub here. So Johnson, who came over with a foot injury and now with a bit of a shoulder injury. Again, because we're already to the end of stoppage time, there might be 30 seconds, a minute added on here. I don't think you make a sub at this juncture. You wait until the start of the second half, but
that's my thought as well, right.
You worry about if that shoulder injury is bad enough. Have we seen the last of Jermaine Johnson this season for Indy 11? Knowing there are just 3 games remaining and the season finale is on November the 1st.
And he has provided such a spark when he's been in there for this offensive attack. You hate to see somebody or even consider somebody's season ending on such a play like that.
Little flick by Pineda. Maybe one last opportunity here for the Indy 11. Smart takes it to the corner and earns a corner. Nope, just going to be a throw in. My apologies. Smart can't keep it in play. And you got to think that you're about to see the end of first half activities.
You would think.
Because rarely do you get 50 minutes of play into the first half, but we are at that stage right now, and there is the whistle. So our halftime show about to happen. And first we'll talk to Manny Lagos, the head coach of Minnesota United. A position his team has been in quite infrequently this year, trailing going to halftime. Pineda with the goal for Indy 11. Coming back in the 8th minute. The only bad news for the 11, again, we assume that Jermaine Johnson is done for the night. And a team that had some limited options at forward, those options got a bit more limited this evening. Jurgen Summer talking things up with Dylan Mayers. Christian Neek's injury seems to hopefully be a thing of the past. Let's hope that continues going into half number 2. Our friends at Community Health Network sponsoring Breast Cancer Awareness Night. They also sponsor the trainer, and that's been obvious as we've seen him a lot in the first half of this game. We'll have the league standings for you coming up at halftime. Halftime highlights and stats. All coming up as we kick off the halftime show coming up here in just a matter of moments. All right, let's go across the pitch now. Manny Lagos is joining us, head coach, Minnesota United. Coaching in a position you haven't been in very often this year, trailing going into the half. Your thoughts about the first 45 minutes of play?
Yeah, I thought we started brightly, and they had a nice goal, and that really picked up the game. And, it's been a game. We've had chances. They've had chances. I think we probably should have finished some of ours. But, hey, this is the sport it is. It's 45 minutes. Now we have to collect ourselves and see if we can play a little bit better defensively, deal with their speed up top. And then for us, it's going to be important for us to really take a look at how we finish and make sure we're clinical.
Hey, Manny, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you post-match.
Thank you.
Manny Lagos, head coach of Minnesota United. We'll take this quick timeout. Halftime show comes your way in a matter of moments. A good view of downtown Indianapolis. Scoreboard looks good, too. 1-0 Indy 11. This broadcast of Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by Honda Manufacturing of Indiana. Proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. By Community Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. By McDonald's, proud sponsor of the Indy 11. By Theodora, 65 years of Italian styling. And by The Room Place. Get it all at The Room Place. We've had a lot of injury news throughout the course of tonight's game. Rattling off the names of players injured and out for the year. Then Christian Neek rolls an ankle, able to stay in the match. Jermaine Johnson with a shoulder injury. My guess is he's not. We will see that for sure here in a moment or two. We'll talk to head coach Jurgen Summer of the Indy 11 in a matter of moments, but he probably has a substitution to turn in first. So that might be giving us a bit of delay. It's a good problem to have here at the Indy 11 with that 1-goal advantage. And let's go across the way now to head coach Jurgen Summer. Coach, an outstanding first half by your club. What was your message to your guys at halftime?
No, just much of the same for the second half. Really could see the work rate out there and the purpose that these guys had in their game. They really kind of pushed Minnesota Charlie made a nice run in behind, laid off a great ball for Victor. So great to get that early goal. Just the work rate has been great. So we're going to continue to do that. We don't want to back off here because we know how dangerous and how good of a team Minnesota is. So we're going to keep pushing.
Will we see Jermaine here in half number 2, Coach?
No, he's out for the injury he suffered there on the tackle. He's out for the rest of the match, and Julian will step in for the second half.
Sounds good. Best of luck, Jurgen.
Great, thank you.
Jurgen Summer, head coach of the Indy 11. So again, it is one striker signed in July that exits, another striker signed about a month later that enters. Julian. There's number 88. So yes, folks, the 2 players playing up top for the Indy 11 will wear 88 and 99 here in the second half. Charlie Ruggin from the LA Galaxy. Julian from Brazil, played in Moldova a season ago. Looking for his first goal, a wonderful opportunity to have it here while playing for the Indy 11. So 1 of 3 substitutions used for Indy. There's a look at Julian.
Number 88, Julian in the lineup for number 14, Jermaine Johnson.
And that's the case for young teams, for expansion franchise. You have a lot of turnover from a roster standpoint as the season goes along, but as I look on the field, only about half of the players playing tonight for Indy 11 started the season with Indy 11 back in April.
And I think it's a testament to the management and the coaching staff and everyone within the organization that they want to get new blood in.
Smart plays it across, flicked in. That didn't take long. Julian with the goal, and it's 2-0 Indy 11. Good things happen when Don Smart is in the game.
A fantastic ball in by Don Smart to the on-running Julian, who buried the first-time finish. You could not ask for a better start if you're the Indy 11 coming out of halftime.
I'm not sure that Julian has actually had a chance to break in a sweat at this point, and he found the back of the net. All of our goals are brought to us by our friends at WGU Indiana, helping Hoosiers reach their education goals. Go further with WGU Indiana education that works for you. The Buffalo Wild Wings replay.
Don Smart with the laser ball in. Julian making the great run in between the center backs. You don't always see that from forwards, finding the space and then burying the first-time finish.
They say the most dangerous lead in soccer to have is 2-0 or 2 goals. The 11 found themselves in that scenario the last time they won a match. That was in Atlanta on September the 6th. All the scoring in that match was done in the first half. They led 2-0. It was 2-1 at the break, and it stayed that way. And now Watson is down for Minnesota. No card's going to be shown here, just a whistle and a foul going the other direction.
And again, for the Indy 11, it's vital that they don't stop doing what they've been doing up to this point. Keep the pressure on, maintain your defensive shape, and then look to spring on the counter. And that is what led to both of those goals here this evening.
Cheney plays this one long. Venegas sends this one across, but too high to make contact with anybody else. And Christian Neat slaps the pads together on that one to say thank you. Minnesota's given up 2 goals on a handful of occasions this year. It is the 4th time it has happened during the fall season. The last one was a 3-2 victory in Ottawa 13 days ago. The only time that Manny Lagos' team has given up 3 this year was the finale of the spring season, a 3-3 draw against Tampa Bay on June the 7th. So an Indy 11 team that had not scored in their last 2 matches had a scoreless streak of 225 minutes. And here they are. First team that was eliminated from the playoff competition a couple of weeks ago, leading the best team in the league that already has their spot secured by 2 goals here in the 49th minute.
But again, and it bears repeating, if any team in this league is capable of coming back from such a deficit, it would absolutely be the Minnesota Thunder. So I'm going to repeat again. It is vital that the 11 maintain that defensive shape, especially in the midfield between Meyers and Pena. They've done a great job all day eliminating those balls into Ramirez, and then once the balls get wide into those wide channels, shut down the Minnesota attackers.
Well, you can tell Pineda not happy with the challenge that sent the ball in the other direction, and this is easily the most amount of talking I've seen in an Indy 11 match this year between the 11 and another team.
And I was going to say the 11 and Vicencine, who seems to be in the middle of everything when it comes to the chippy play.
And the conversation that you are seeing now, that is between the two team captains. So that is Soren Stoik, our referee. Eric Morales wearing the captain's armband for Indy 11. Aaron Pitchkillen wearing it for Minnesota. Ball off of Smart's shoulder. First bad touch he's made all night.
Well, you did say it. Smart is able to make plays in situations where you might not expect them. I think on that time it was off his back, and I know for a fact that that is a touch, a shot he would love to have back, especially with, I believe, Rugg in the penalty box right there.
Miller finds Julian. Julian plays it for Pineda. Pineda sizing up his options and eventually just kind of ran out of real estate. Kept trying to find Dylan Meyers. There was never a passing lane there to make the connection. Pineda on loan from the Chicago Fire. He and Marco Franco, both young players in the Fire system. But Pineda, a homegrown player, went to the Chicago Fire Academy. And a chance to play for the U.S. under-23 team in August. Missed the match against Fort Lauderdale here on August the 6th for that effort. That's onside. Missed opportunity perhaps by Minnesota United. We'll regroup here. Julian steps in front. Eventually wins it back to Dylan Meyers. Meyers slides it right back to Rugg. Rugg. Outstanding tackle. That was the ball first. No doubt about that. That was well played by Jordan of Minnesota United. Smart wins it back. Van Oekel got his mitts on that one. Julian. Make it Rugg, excuse me. Could not keep it on his boots.
A frantic 30 seconds right there for Indy 11, but you have to love what you're seeing from the team if you're an Indy 11 fan as they make it down the right-hand flank. Meyers with a great ball into Rugg, and then it looks like a goal kick coming out of it instead of the supposed corner kick.
Van Oekel not happy about something that transpired there, and why I'm not sure.
He should be happy with that fantastic save that he made, denying Indy 11 a 3-goal advantage.
That was one of the few wasted opportunities for the Indy 11 tonight. Pitch tilted at this point in favor of the home side.
And this right here, if I'm Minnesota, I'm bemoaning the fact that Ibarra is not here with them tonight. Ramirez is obviously well known for his goal scoring capabilities, Mendez on the right flank as well, but Ibarra has the creativity to make that extra pass, that special pass, that creative dribble to break down a stingy defense, which is what the Indy 11 have provided this evening.
And we have a whistle. And we'll have a dangerous set piece opportunity here, and yet again, here we go. Sides coming together. Frias, Watson. This has been brewing for quite some time. Let's see if both sides are still playing with a full 11.
Neek's playing the role of peacemaker while the battalion screams fight. A bit of a contrast right there.
Now, Frias is going to see a card. It looks like that's the only bit of caution or warning that will be shown. And the elbow, and certainly some acting on the backside of that.
Definitely a bit of exaggeration. I would imagine that between the elbow and the holding of the ball delaying the game, that is what caused the yellow card to be issued.
Venegas sends it in. Ball deflected away. Not out of danger yet. Miller wins it, and now out of danger. You may have heard me chuckle there for a moment. The chant of "he's a flopper," normally reserved for Dwayne Wade, has been brought up here
in this city.
Tonight's match. It gets used for every sport. One of the chants we can repeat from the Brickyard Battalion. Not all of them are like that.
Yes.
Most of them, but not all of them.
This one was PG, maybe PG-13.
Pena got a boot to it. Frias will play it off to a teammate. Now Julian, inspired by his earlier goal. As Rugg plays it back, chance to organize here.
Great composure there by the 11. Julian getting the ball at his feet. Rugg may have not been in for a through ball, slowing things up, possessing, making Minnesota chase the game, already down 2 goals. You like to see that from one of your talented, experienced players like a Julian.
Omar Daly will become the first sub of this game for Minnesota United. Jamie Watson, who's been involved in a couple of the dust-ups, is going to leave. Now Daly is a guy that certainly has a scorer's mentality. Not scored this year. This is his 14th game played, but he adds a bit of aggressive offensive ability for this Minnesota club.
And pace, you said it in the first half, Franco has not had his name called very often. More often than not, we've seen Frias on the right-hand side be involved in the defensive side of things. Look maybe for Minnesota to attack on that right-hand flank.
Dylan Mayers, we play on. Advantage given. Cheney with it. Each team now with 2 substitutions remaining, and Pena will get whistled for that one.
That was absolutely a silly foul there by Pena. He was going nowhere, no need to do that. But that being said, the 11 have done a good job of frustrating Minnesota, and you see it there with Vicencini's anger or disappointment that his teammates weren't making enough movements off the ball to find them.
Neat. Go to ground a little bit to maybe allow the emotions to cool a little bit. Ramirez lurking, he of the 17 goals this season. Not sure he had a chance to finish the thought earlier as Julian was offside on that one. But the top 3 scorers this year for Minnesota United, and Ramirez, Mendez, and Ibarra, have combined for 34 goals. That is as much as San Antonio has scored this season. They're in 2nd place. And that is more than any other team has scored this year in league play. Miller will play it out to the side. Just a reminder, fans, you can join us every Saturday morning for Soccer Saturday on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. Next Saturday will be at Chatham Tap at Fishers, 116th Street. We'll be joined by Jurgen Sommer, Charlie Rugg, and working on some other outstanding guests that may join us in person or over the phone. Premier League action returns, and make sure you join us there. And I highly recommend the Chicharito Burrito when you go to Chatham Tap and Fishers at Soccer Saturday, 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. And this whistle of a foul will go against Minnesota United, and Corey Miller, the worse for wear with the contact.
I'm not even hungry, but I feel compelled to have a Chicharito Burrito right now.
There's the Mata Frittata. There's Sir Alex's Scotch eggs. You can kind of tell the theme in which the menu there is for breakfast on Saturday mornings. Much as I want to talk about food, back to the action, and Davis gets whistled for the foul.
But again, we see Miller in the right spot at the right time.
Charlie Rugg just get there in time at the other end. Ball headed back by Vicencini to the goalie in Van Oekel.
Right decision here by the 11, sitting off a little bit. I'd like to see Rugg and Julian come back, maybe another 5-10 yards, condense the field, make it difficult for Minnesota to play in this space.
Give away here. Mayers has Julian to his right, but unfortunately have the ball at his feet. Now Rugg will play it off to Julian. Mayers to his left, sends it across. Didn't really have much of a supporting run that time by anybody else other than Rugg. And maybe with a 2-goal lead, it's not a bad thing for Indy 11 to play it that way.
Not at all. You have to be smart when going forward and looking to extend that lead. As we've said, you don't want to take your foot off the pedal completely, but you have to have a matter of soccer intelligence when it comes to this sort of thing.
Long ball for Davis. Davis heads it across, but Norales is there, and we'll see a corner kick coming up here for Minnesota. Our match clock is being brought to us by Seiko. They're the official timekeeper of the North American Soccer League. It has been a virtually corner-free game tonight.
Something that, to be honest, I think benefits Indy 11. Minnesota is known for their size, especially in the back. So we'll have to see here if Indy can mark their key men. Looking at Vicente and Diaz.
Venegas takes it and airmails this one. Now Jordan will track it down. Pineda blanketing him. And Jordan will earn another corner kick, and I can't think that was the design of the play for Minnesota.
I would highly doubt it.
Mendez will take this one. This one maybe a little more trouble. Neat punches it away, can't get much to it. Ball deflects away. Daly with an optimistic swing at it. Again, the 11 asking, hey, where's the foul here? It's going to be a goal kick. And Julian, the player that goes down in a heap for the Indy 11.
But that whole play, that whole chain of events started when the ball bounced in the box on a corner. If you're the Indy 11, when that ball gets served in, you must clear it out. And as we see here on the replay, once that ball gets in and makes it past that first man, that's where the danger starts to present itself. Neek does a great job of getting out. Would like to get more on this punch right here, but then the shot just looked like it frames that opposite post. So we have two posts today benefiting Neek in the Indy 11.
The postman rings twice at this point for the Indy 11. I'm not sure he'll ring a third time.
Certainly don't want to take that chance to find out.
And Rugg's going to get whistled for the foul. That's chances you want to take in that scenario if you're Indy 11. And is Pena going to get whistled? Yes, he will. I'm not sure exactly how or why. You can see the response from Jurgen Sommer. And again, you see the conversation going back and forth now between players and coaches. And this is a level of discourse that is less than civil and the strongest I have seen at any point in time this year in a match here at Carroll Stadium.
Right, and between players and coaches. If you're a player on the field, obviously you want to protect your player. You want to make sure that even if the tackle was tough, fair, dirty, what have you, you deal with it on the field. But to go after the opposing coaching staff for voicing their displeasure with the call, not sure that's entirely called for.
So it's just a yellow, but again, the yellow starting to add up on both sides. Frias, Rugg, Pena, all with yellows at this point for Indy 11. Bisoncini with a yellow for Minnesota.
And I'll be honest, my thought is, and we'll take a look at this, is that with Pena, if this tackle occurs in the 15th, 20th minute before some of the chippiness, I don't think it's a yellow card. And to be honest, I'm not sure if it's a foul. I thought he got in initial impression, cleanly into the ball, follow through, took the man with him, but I think he got there first. That being said, again, with how this has transpired throughout the course of the game, maybe this is one of those ref wants to get ahead of it, nip it in the bud, see how many more yellows he has to issue here in the last 27 minutes or so.
Greg Jordan will come out. He'll become the second player subbed out by Mighty Lagos tonight. Simone Bracalello will enter now for Minnesota United. Bracalello with 2 goals in 12 matches played so far this season. This one could be trouble, but Mendez heads it right at Christian Neeks.
Your attention, please. Substitution for Minnesota.
And now Julium on the restart. Vicencini giving chase.
Simone Bracalello, number 23.
Mayers will settle it. And a little too aggressive that time, just too strong. Right idea, sending it towards Julium, but too strong on the touch.
And until that ball right there, that last 30, 45 seconds, the 11 did a fantastic job, starting with Julium, putting their foot on the ball, slowing things down, possessing it, moving it laterally side to side, not necessarily looking to go direct, really looking to kill this game off in a smart and physically efficient manner.
Time now for our Axis attendance report. It is yet another sellout for the Indy 11 this evening. 10,285 Axis luxury apartments. Downtown revolves around you. So make it 13 consecutive league sellouts for the Indy 11. You got one more chance to see the 11 this year. Next Saturday night against the San Antonio Scorpions. And right now the Scorpions are Indy 11's biggest cheerleader, because San Antonio could get back within a point of Minnesota United in the race for the fall championship. Although again, San Antonio from a point standpoint knows they're going to the postseason. Daly. Now Davis gives chase. That ball deflected by Franco, and again, Mendez got to be thinking, I really need to stop hitting it to the guy in the white jersey. Because every time he touches it, luckily for the home side, it has found the mitts of Christian Neekt.
But we're seeing Minnesota push 4 or 5 guys into the attack right now. Pena and Mayers need to do a good job of making sure one of them is sitting back in front of that back line of 4 to keep the Minnesota attack at bay. There have been too many opportunities in the last 10-15 minutes coming through on the wing, where in the most recent case the header was hit right to Neeks, but on one of these opportunities it might not be.
One thing to note as well, the last 2 times that Neekt has wanted to restart the play, he's thrown the ball and not kicked it. Don't forget about that ankle injury earlier in the game. You got to think that's having a factor in that.
I agree with you completely. That's a great observation. It's one of those, as we said in the first half, he's even checking it out right now. We just saw maybe it affects his first step off the line. Maybe it affects his ability to kick the ball over long distances on a back pass. Just something to be mindful of. If you're the back line of the Indy 11 defense, you don't want to play him a back pass that might necessarily lead to a bad result.
In one sense, it can help you waste some time if a defender's got to come over and take the goal kick. But also it's another way for Minnesota to allow to continue to push numbers forward. Throw in coming here for the Loons. Fans of the IPL and ICL are excited to be a part of the Indy 11 inaugural season. The Indiana Champions League and the Indy 11 creating an atmosphere in the Indianapolis soccer community that is fantastic. Julia trying to find Rugg. Right idea. A little too strong on the execution. The 11 have led for virtually 60 minutes at this point. Daly. Bracalello. Miller. Tremendous tackle. But it's going to be a goal kick. Goal kick is the call. Assistant referee immediately pointed to the corner, and the referee Soika said nope, pointed right at Christian Neekt.
With the better point of view, looks like he made the accurate call. Great work there again. We keep repeating it. Miller tracking back, making the saving tackle to prevent a goal-scoring opportunity for the Thunder.
Interesting to see what the mindset's going to be for Jurgen Sommer from a substitution standpoint. Because to be honest, so many times here the substitutions have been, well, down by a goal or two. Need somebody in the attacking side of things to keep going forward. Might not be the case this time around. Mitchell to Davis. Nice work by Marco Franco. Couldn't maintain possession. That'll be a throw-in for Minnesota United.
Needed to get it out right there. A little too cheeky for his own good.
That's deflected. Deflected yet again. Finally out of danger for a moment. However, though, I think looking at a goal kick here, yep. Another chance to breathe easy for the Indy 11.
But back to your point about substitutions, I think right now, if you have a healthy Mike Ambersley, you would probably look to substitute him in for a Rugg. Rugg's done a fantastic job. He's held the ball up well. He's connected with the midfielders. Mike would have been able to provide a similar type role, but fresh legs. Now, with that being said, what do? Maybe you remove someone like a Rugg only because he's put in such an effort this evening, and put someone in, drop them into an attacking center mid spot to provide more defensive cover in the center of the park.
Whistle. Free is not happy with it. We'll get a little more contact after the play. Well, Minnesota United has not exactly won the hearts and minds of fans here in Indianapolis over the course of tonight's match. Fans, when you're not watching the match on the pitch, you can find your perfect, honest-to-goodness Indiana getaway at visitindiana.com. That's visitindiana.com. See Ramirez on your screen. Watch for number 21. Never made it into the 18. Really into the 6, I should say. Deflected. It was Rugg that cleared that one out. He's been outstanding all over the field. Smart gives chase. Van Oekel calls him off. We normally see Don at about 15-20 minute bursts off the bench. He looks like he's got as much energy in the 72nd minute as he did in the 1st or 2nd minute. This one sent in, and Neat able to make the play, and he'll go to ground and start counting the particles of rubber in between the turf blades to help waste a little more time.
Using all 6 seconds allotted to him by the rules.
Mitchell gets it back. Volleys it across to Davis. This could be trouble. But Ramirez, and that's worth noting for Minnesota, Ramirez, as he was going up to get it, comes up a bit gimpy. Minnesota has restarted, but Ramirez now kind of hobbling back to get onside. The goal scorer in the league was 17.
And I'm looking across the field, and I'm trying to see if Minnesota is warming anyone up. And to be honest, I'm not sure if that's the case. I wonder if Coach Lago says, hey, give it a few more minutes if he's looking a little ginger on that ankle. Oh.
And Smart's going to whistle for the late challenge. Restart immediately here by Minnesota. No card given. Ramirez, the target, freest, got in the way. Davis sends this one skyward, and that will easily reach the east end bleachers. Goal kick coming here for Christian Neat. Fans, you've got one more chance to see the Indy 11 this season. Tickets are still available. 685-1100, Indy11.com. You won't want to miss the festivities that are in store on Fan Appreciation Night next Saturday. Haney in the midfield. Long distance pass, trying to find Smart. Rugg will track it down. Smart plays it through. Julian couldn't get there in time. That will be a corner for the Indy 11.
Good ball, and even better run by Julian, still looking to get engaged into the attack here under 20 minutes left to play.
11 not exactly in a hurry to send numbers forward here. Right now they've got just 4 in the box and a couple of lurking outside. Rugg. Might have been the put away shot right there. He's done so many things well tonight. Set up the first goal. And we're about to have the second substitution of the night for the Indy 11. And it is going to be Kleberson. That will make his way into this game. Dylan Mayers will exit. And if you can go to Kleberson as a sub in the 75th minute, you're in a pretty good spot if you're the Indy 11. Leading goal scorer this year with 8. He had the 2 previous goals scored by Indy 11 against Minnesota on the season. Each team now with 1 substitution remaining. Good solid job by Dylan Mayers tonight getting the starting opportunity.
Pena and Mayers did a good job of rotating. When one was higher up the pitch, the other dropped in. It's going to be vital for the 11 that Kleberson and Pena still maintain that sort of dynamic in the center of park, especially with Minnesota throwing more and more numbers forward as the game continues.
Miller and Ramirez butt heads. I don't think this is a whistle for a card. I think this is a whistle for simply head-to-head contact. Immediately the play was stopped, so the trainers from both sides could come out and again, we're going to have another lengthy conversation between our referee and a player or two. And again, this is Aaron Pitchkolin that Zoran Stojka is talking to, the captain for Minnesota United. Eric Morales, you see the captain there for Indy 11, standing over top of Corey Miller, who's actually being treated for a cut. And that's just, I don't view that as a rough challenge. That's just kind of the nature of the sport. It is a physical game.
Right, just a straight head-to-head collision there.
The handshake line, so to speak, is going to be awfully interesting at the end of this match.
I would imagine awkward.
And might require extra security.
There you go.
And if Miller has to exit, the 11 have a couple of defensive options in Andrew Stone and Fujiro Okioma. But frankly, neither have played at the level that Corey has in his brief time with the team. So I'm sure the instructions from the bench will be fix that as quickly as possible and get him back into the game.
ASAP, yes.
Both teams playing with 10 right now, as Miller and Ramirez both on the sidelines here. Ramirez looks ready to come back in at a moment's notice. Miller might take a bit of work, and Miller might also have to pass a little bit of an exam to get back in the game as well. Frias wins that ball. Now Rugg turns on the accelerator. Throw in coming here for the 11.
Clean tackle, but great run there by Rugg. He knew he had the corner turn and was able to use his speed to advance the ball down the pitch, where hopefully the Indy 11, for their sake, will be able to maintain possession in this attacking third of the field.
First touch for Kleberson tonight. Franco doesn't keep it in the field of play.
Davis throwing the ball in right there. The last 10-15 minutes he's gotten up this left side of the pitch.
Risky play by Franco. Pena's there to bail him out. Franco's kind of backheeled that one to it a spot, and that's not a good play. Rugg giving chase, but Van Oekel should get there first. Just plays it off to the side. And work continues on Corey Miller across the way, so currently the 11 playing a man down. They've had experience at this year, even of the injury variety, having to play a man down at times.
Right, and it looks like Pena has dropped into that center back role where Morales was. It looks like Pineda's tucked into that center midfield slot. where they're trying to maintain that sense of balance in the middle of the park.
Cleverson wins that one, finds Don Smart. Smart takes the shot. Van Oekel had to make an effort at it. He never touched it. Smart had a couple of options, decided to go ahead and go for it. Immediately kind of tapped his chest and, hey, that's my fault.
I think after the fact, he noticed Rugg was making that smart run across in front of him, and that might have been the better play. But hey, when you're up 2-0 against Minnesota and you have a free shot from 25, why not test it?
Don Smart has kind of earned the right to go for goal this evening with the plays that he has made.
Absolutely.
Played across. Pena wins it. Nice step in by Frias. Julian with space to operate, finds Don Smart. Don will let the ball come to him. Possession pretty valuable here for the Indy 11 as well.
Very good decision there by Smart.
Smart, offside. Corey Miller waved back in, now sporting a new headband for the rest of the night. That's deflected off of Omar Daly. Well done by Marco Franco. Marco, a draft pick at the Chicago Fire last year. Played his college soccer at UC Irvine. Smart. Julian. Smart goes down behind the play. Will play on. Now Rugg. Smart was onside. Smart thought he was off. He just stopped. Don is certainly match fit, but again, he's not used to going the full 90, and you got to wonder, is he starting to run out of gas out there?
Sure, and so I think that's, especially with the 2-0 lead, I can't overstate that. I think that's where maybe Franco needs to talk to him, say, hey, sit in just a little bit. If you want to make that run every now and then, that's fine, but make sure that defensively you maintain that shape of 8 and 9 in the back.
First time that the 11 have had a 2-goal lead at home this season. Had it for virtually the entire half after Julian scored in the opening seconds of the second half, and the opening seconds of the match for him, coming on to replace the injured Jermaine Johnson. Johnson injured on a rough tackle by Giuliano Vicencini at the end of the first half, and it was a shoulder injury from the speed in which he went to the turf was the reason for him to exit this game. This one played in. Franco plays it across the end line and gets a round of applause from Christian Niecht.
But again, we see Minnesota attacking on the flanks, getting a decent distribution in there. Just no one for the Thunder on the end to head it home.
Final sub about to enter for Minnesota United, and it is a familiar name and face to Indy 11 fans. It is Pedro Mendez, who began the season with the Indy 11. He was traded to Minnesota in August. He will be the substitution. We're going to go with the corner first. Frias. Now Davis. And that's a foul on Pena. Pena's already playing with a card. You got to be careful here. Another set piece opportunity. Those are starting to become a bit more numerous now for Minnesota.
But Minnesota's done a terrible job this evening of getting the ball up on the free kick past the first and second Indy 11 defender. If they can find a Ramirez, a Diaz on the far post, that could present a far more dangerous scoring opportunity than any free kick they've had up to this point.
So Mendez will check in for Mendez. Daniel out, Pedro in whenever the substitution is made. This one bends in, no traffic in front. Christian Niecht will make the save. Fans, you can enjoy City Barbecue, slow smoked pulled pork, potato salad, slaw, and all your tailgating favorites without doing any of the work at your next party. City Barbecue with great locations all throughout central Indiana, including one on the north side of the campus of IUPUI on 10th Street. Davis steps in. Bracalello plays this one off of Morales. Another corner kick coming here.
Bending but not breaking is the phrase that comes to mind right now.
I get the feeling that Minnesota would like to have the Mendez of the Daniel variety in on these set pieces as long as possible.
Absolutely.
And then we'll make the substitution. This one sent in. Cleberson got there first, I believe. One sub remains for the 11. Pena wins this one. Nice little flick combination. Ramirez right at Christian Nate. And a look of exasperation, one that Ramirez has had so few times this season. So Daniel Mendez will exit, and to expedite the process, he will go out the back door, so to speak. He will exit behind the net. And Ramirez so many times has buried those all year. Not tonight. So Minnesota has used their full complement of substitutions this evening. This one sent in. Neek's got a hand to it. And Miller will punt this one away. Neek still playing with that gimpy ankle, but nothing wrong with his hands. I'm not sure Christian will be able to walk tomorrow, but he'll be floating tonight if this result holds.
Absolutely the man of the match in my estimation. That save on the breakaway from Ramirez, he did a fantastic job of staying big and letting the ball hit into him.
Miscue here. Ball play to the side. A fine Don Smart. Smart. Made that one easy for Van Oekel. And there will be some stoppage time added on here. We had one goal and a couple of injuries and several substitutions. Still time for the Loons. If you're wondering why we call Minnesota United the Loons, they put the state bird, the loon, on their logo. So hence the reference. And Neektigan will go to ground to stop that ball. Smart gives chase. Rugg and Julian stay on side. Smart plays it across. Julian can't get to it. Venegas got in the way. Pitchgillen couldn't get a boot to it. That's onside. Flag stays down. Charlie Rugg off to the races. Charlie Rugg. And Van Oekel keeps his team in it. That is a corner coming up here for Indy 11 fans. The Metro PCS ticket giveaway is back. Be sure to visit the Metro PCS location at 2802 Lafayette Road between 5 and 7 on Friday. Radio Latina will be on hand with their cash cube, and Metro PCS will give away 100 tickets to the Indy 11 home finale against San Antonio. Metro PCS makes wireless and getting to the game easy with unlimited data, talk, and text for one low monthly rate, period. Smart sends this one in. Pineda. Now Franco tried to find Smart. No need for the 11 to be in a hurry here. If you're not being pressured, take your time.
Good composure here by the 11.
Flag stayed down, but Julian couldn't control the touch. 3 previous wins for Indy 11, all coming on the road. All in the fall season as well. And a foul whistled against Sergio Pena. Fans join the Indy 11 at the final home match of the inaugural season next Saturday against the San Antonio Scorpions. It's Hoosier Lottery night. The first 1,100 adults through the gate will see the free Hoosier Lottery scratch-off. If you're feeling lucky, get to the mic and don't miss out. You must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. And then be sure to stick around for a fabulous post-game fireworks show presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers. This one deflected in. Miller got a volley to it, but the flag was up. Offside is called.
And as impressive as Neeks has been all evening, it just doesn't look like it's Minnesota's night when it comes to clicking in the offensive third of the field. Their restarts have been poor. They haven't been able to connect inside the box and make that final pass that would then lead to a goal-scoring opportunity. The 11 have just played well all evening.
Well, Victor Pineda down behind the plays while the training staff comes out to look at him, and it's time for one of our end of the game features, which is brought to us by our friends at Schlage. It is our lockdown play of the game, and well, Christian Neekt has had this Minnesota United club on lockdown all night long.
Absolutely. We see the goal-scoring opportunity snuffed out by the left boot of Neekt there in the first half, and he managed to play through the pain all game and record one of his finest performances all season.
For unmatched security in a variety of styles and finishes, choose Schlage. Strong has a name. Christian Neekt has been more than strong for the Indy 11 this evening. He's been outstanding all year, and the results are now backing him up these last couple of weeks. Two of the top 3 teams in the league have gone goalless against Christian Neekt in the last 180 minutes.
And again, that's a testament to the faith that Coach Summer had and has had in Neekt all season long. It's never easy when you're on a team that's losing consistently, especially when you're the goalkeeper, the last line of defense. The goals go in on you. But I think these performances, as you just mentioned, Greg, have justified the faith that they've shown in Neekt, and not only him, but this entire roster and this team moving forward. And I think there's a lot to build on looking into the second season for Indy 11 in 2015.
That look of disbelief you see on Jurgen Summer's face is because the stoppage time was just shown by the 4th official. 7 minutes left to go in this one. And the 11 fans have been waiting for a home victory all season long. Why not 7 more minutes?
Why not 10? Why not 15?
Let's stay with 7, shall we?
All right.
I've been much happier with 3 or 4, to be honest with you.
I think that would have been more accurate, but
the 11 playing again, a man down currently with Pineda. If he can return, they'll be at full strength, and if not, they can still bring in another substitution, and in fact, looks like they're going to. This ball sent in. Christian Neekt will simply knock it away with the left hand, and now Franco will send it back to midfield. Charlie Rugg had it for a moment. Ball finds Frias. Ball deflects away from Frias. Has good positioning against Venegas to win that ball back. Pineda back in there now. And that's a throw in here for the 11. Corby Moore, by the way, will be the 3rd substitution when he is ready to enter this match, and we have not called his name in a long time. He will replace Victor Pineda, who scored the opening goal of this game for Indy 11. Corby from Southampton in England and played with their program, of course, is now one of the top teams in the Premier League through his junior days. But as more players have been added, it's been tougher and tougher for Corby to crack the starting 11. So some valuable minutes here late for Corby Moore. So both teams through with substitutions tonight. 5 minutes remaining in stoppage time. Cleverson launching Franco. Julian onside as well. Julian plays it across to Charlie Rugg. Rugg looking to make his first home match as a member of the Indy 11 a winner. He had the assist on the opening goal by Pineda. Moore will take it to the corner and be happy to waste some time.
Smart play here by the 11, working the ball left to right laterally instead of just forcing it direct up the gut. Intelligent play there by Moore, just to waste 30, 45 more seconds worth of time.
Talked about how the biggest fans of the Indy 11 tonight were the folks in San Antonio. They are capitalizing on the opportunity. They're leading Tampa Bay 2-0. So if these results hold, that means that San Antonio's back within a point of Minnesota for the fall season championship. But again, Minnesota still has a game in hand on San Antonio. They will play Tampa Bay on Wednesday night. And then everybody will be even in terms of games played with 24-3 to play. This one sent in. Morales able to keep it away from Ramirez. Christian Ramirez may assume that Eric Morales could get on the bus with him at the end of this game. He has been his shadow for 95 minutes.
Absolutely.
Foul whistle against Minnesota. The 11 will be in no hurry to restart here. So with that, let us show you now the Theodora soccer tip of the game. And Charlie Rugg has been putting on a clinic about playing the forward spot all night long.
We've mentioned Rugg's ability to get by defenders, as we see here on his play in the first goal. But one other aspect to his play that has been so outstanding this evening has been his ability to hold the ball with his back to goal, stay strong, and then have the unselfishness to find the open man, as he did with Pineda on the opening goal this evening.
Theodora, 65 years of Italian styling. Kids, sometimes you can take your time when you have the ball at your feet. The lesson that we learned from Charlie Rugg tonight.
What a concept. Love it.
Foul whistled against Minnesota. So Minnesota looks like they're going to lose just their third match of this season. We're going to have a whistle here. Player that was onto the sidelines, Minnesota United, was kind of quickly trying to get the ball to Neek for a restart, and a little jaw jacking going on back and forth.
Very demonstrative refereeing right there towards Christian Neekt.
That ball finds Julian. Julian, no penalty given. It would have been outside of the 18 anyway. With the thought being with a 2-goal lead, he went to ground a bit too easily. At this point, you just want the clock to run if you're an Indy 11 fan. Charlie Rugg. Bracalello. Some of the folks from the Brickyard Battalion have made their way out of those stands. To put this in basketball terminology, there might be a court storm at the end of this one.
And it's deserved. I think we'll touch on this in the post game. This is an Indy 11 team that respected Minnesota's offensive capabilities, but came out with a great game plan, sat in when appropriate, attacked on the counter, and made the most of their goal scoring opportunities. You can't look back and say that Indy stole this game by any way, shape, or form.
Cicchini, smart, got in the way of that one. Final minute of stoppage time here. The 11 have played their best soccer against the best teams in this league all season long. Frias got in the way. And now it's about style points for the Indy 11. Just keeping this thing a clean sheet for Christian Neekt. But the sands and the hourglass are about to run out on this one.
But that, I think, that play in particular is indicative of how Indy 11 has played all evening, willing to fight that extra inch to make sure that nothing gets in the back of the net and reward Neekt with such a shutout.
Christian Neekt. Waiting for the whistle. There it is. 1 day removed from the 6-month mark of the first game played here. The Indy 11 have their first home victory. The Brickyard Battalion is running onto the field to make their presence known. The celebration is underway. First ever home win in Indy 11 history. Celebrate it, boys, you've earned it. This is something you see normally reserved overseas for promotion or relegation.
Right, I remember seeing when Man City won the EPL that their fans stormed the field at the Etihad, but it's great to see it here, and this fan base really deserves it, especially after such a performance this evening.
These fans have been here 10,000 strong for every match this year. And they finally, for the first time in league play, get to celebrate a victory. And they do so over the team that has been the most impressive all season long in Minnesota United. Post-game show will start momentarily. The celebration is already underway. Your final score tonight, Indy 11-2, Minnesota United 0 on My Indy TV 23.